Once upon a time, in a cabin deep within the forest, lived two lovely children, a boy named Hansel and a girl named Gretel. They lived with their loving father and their evil stepmother. Now the family was very poor, and they did not eat very often, so the children normally went to bed hungry. The stepmother was not too pleased with these results, as she did not want to die of starvation. Her idea was to take the children into the forest. Leave them there so that they can find their own work, and we can survive, husband. Now, the father loved his children so dearly, he was not too keen on this idea. Oh, please, wife, do not let me do this to my children. I love them and they need me. You listen to me, or else we're all going to die, and I know you don't want that. So, that next day, the stepmother took the children out of the beds and led them into the forest. Unknowing, though, Hansel had been listening the whole night to the evil stepmother's plan to get rid of them. So, as she gave them their meals, a small loaf of bread, he was dropping breadcrumbs throughout the whole path, the stepmother unknowingly. She set up a fire for them and she said, "Now you kids, you sleep behind this fire and you get warm, and when you wake up, we'll be happy and we'll find us some food." So the kids went to bed. But when they had awoken later that evening, stepmother was gone and they had no idea where they were. "Oh, Hansel, what are we going to do? We're lost in the forest." "Do not worry, Gretel, for I have left us a trail. Back to our cabin. We will be perfectly safe." But as the children went to see their path, it had been eaten up by the birds. Oh, the children, they were in such commotion. What are they to do? They are lost in the woods. So they wandered deeper and deeper into the forest, until they saw the most magical thing they've ever come across. A cabin built completely of chocolates and sweets and other delicious things. They started to eat as much as they could, stuffing their faces like they were in danger, unknowingly that they were. But out comes from the cabin, they hear, "Who's eating my house?" Opens the door, just an old woman, scraggly and long hair and just gnarly to look at. The children were like, "Oh, it's the birds eating your house. Do not worry." "Oh, children, please do come in." The kids went to the house as she cooked them up pancakes and delicious treats for them to stuff their faces and get big, nice bellies. The next day, after the kids were nice and plump and just rolling around in this witch's house, she said, "Oh, Hansel, will you do me the favor of going to get some wood for dinner?" So Hansel left, leaving Gretel all to herself. "Ah, Gretel, please do come help me with the oven. I am old and do not know how to do it." Poor Gretel had no idea she was trying to be cooked in the oven for the witch's supper. Right when Gretel was about to open the door, the witch was about to push her in. Here comes Hansel, zooming in and kicking the witch right into the oven. Latching the door, the witch screams, "Ah! Oh! It hurts! It burns!" But the kids had no idea that they were just saved. They grabbed as much candy as they could and shoved it into their pockets, and they went outside, joyful that they had survived the witch. Well, the problem still stood. Lost in the forest, nowhere to go, how to get home? But Hansel had the greatest idea. Little goose, please do come help me." And up, waddling along, a perfect goose. And he says, "I will take you across the river and back to your cabin." So Hansel jumped on, and he said, "Sister, come sit right here next to me." "Oh, the goose can't carry us all, Hansel. It will be too heavy." No problems. It would be my pleasure." So both the children hopped on, and the goose, paddling along, got them across the river. And as the children were walking through the forest, enjoying their view, it started to look familiar. All the trees like they have seen before. And all of a sudden, their cabin with their father, who was so delighted to see them. But what about the stepmother? Well, it appears she had died. So they lived happily ever after, their loving father and full tummies full of chocolates for the rest of their days.